One of my biggest goals this year has been learning how to waste less of what we grow and cook at home. We planted our biggest garden yet, started everything from seed, and suddenly found ourselves with more fresh food than we could use all at once. Instead of letting the harvest go to waste, I wanted to start building the skills it took to preserve it. Not just one way, but learning a few different methods so we can enjoy everything we've worked so hard to grow long after the season is over. Over the next few weeks, that meant drying herbs from the garden, freezing tomatoes for future sauce, learning how to water bath can, and probably the most intimidating one yet, pressure canning for the very first time. But before I could try any of that, I had one more thing to get. It's been 30 seconds and there's already a cat in the box. I had been wanting a pressure canner for months, and finally ordering one felt like I was taking the next step towards becoming a little more self-sufficient. Alrighty, so a couple days later, and I have got my canning supplies. I got a canning kit, funnel, the jar, like to help unscrew it, jar lifters, tongs, bubble remover, magnetic lid lifter, timer. All right, so I've got all of my jars and lids and rings nice and washed, and all the other supplies. So now really all that's left to do is get my chicken stock out of the fridge, get the jars filled, get some water in here, and get it on the stove. This thing is huge, so it's gonna take a little while to heat up. Alrighty, so here's the chicken broth that I made the other day. I'm just gonna scrape off the fat. There's not that much. Everything I read says to take the fat off. Okay. Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Like, it's jelly. This is the chicken stock from our homemade chicken. I actually only got enough chicken stock to fill 2 jars, but honestly, totally fine with it. I think that's a good test, you know, not doing so much for my first time ever. So I'm just gonna wipe the rims. I'm going to put my lid down and screw it just like finger tight. The rack in the bottom, 2 jars in here. Alrighty, so while that's building pressure, I am going to get some herbs in my herb dryer and get them hanging in that room. Here's my herbs that I washed the other day. And I'm just gonna go through and separate them out and pull most of the thyme off of the stems, as much as I don't want to do that. This has some steam going through it and it has been for 10 minutes. I have a timer on. Now I'm just going to place the weight on the steam valve. next morning, and my stock has been sitting all night, and I can lift it by the lid, and the seal has been pulled in. So I'm gonna call this a successful first canning session. This morning, I've got a couple things that I want to get canned. I'm actually going to be doing a water bath canning method today instead of pressure canning. So this will be the first time I'm doing that. And I want to can all of my sun gold tomatoes because I have so many producing, and something that I really missed in the winter was having fresh sun golds to make like a fresh pasta sauce. So I'm just gonna go through all of these, wash them, take off any stems that might be in here, any ones that may be a little squishy. I also would like to can up my tomato sauce that I made from canned tomatoes. I know that that's not like USDA approved, but I've done a lot of research, and I believe that if I add citric acid and do water bath canning method, there shouldn't really be any reason why we should have any issues. Okay, so I've got all of my jars and rings and the flats clean over here. I just did a little bit more research, and I think what I'm gonna do is cold food into cold jars into cold water bath canner. So I've got my cherry tomatoes here that have been washed, and all the stems and everything have been discarded. And I'm really just going to put them in the jars, and I'm gonna pack them really tightly. I've got a muddler here, so I'm just going to make sure that each one gets kind of smushed. They say you do a pinhole, but if you kind of just do it this way, one by one, you should be all right. I should be weighing this, huh? I'm gonna weigh an empty jar. Alrighty, so I've got 5 pints of sauce and 3 pints of cherry tomatoes. In each one of these, I'm gonna put 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid, which I have here. I also put on to boil a little bit of water so I can top off the cherry tomatoes. So I'm gonna do that now. Hopefully I made enough water. now I'm just gonna go through with a knife and make sure that there's no air bubbles. I'm gonna take all this over to the stove and get it in the canner. Since they're all tomato products, they're gonna process for the same amount of time, which is 35 minutes. Amarillo by morning, from San Antonio. So this morning I'm just spending a little bit of time getting some of the garden harvest, not completely processed, but I'm taking my tomatoes that are ripe and scoring the bottom of them, and I'm putting them in this bag. I already have some tomatoes in here from previous weeks. I'm also like, some of these don't look so great on the top, so I'm gonna cut off any icky spots. Yeah, I'm cutting a cross in the bottom of them so that way when they thaw, it really, the skin comes off really easily because the cell walls burst and everything kind of releases after it's frozen. So, all right, I can probably fit all these in here. The reason that I'm doing this and putting them in the freezer is because I still got, not like a crazy amount, but a good amount of tomatoes out on the plant. And actually I plan on planting another round of tomatoes in the late summer to contribute to the tomato processing at the end of the summer. And so I don't want to turn any of these into sauce yet. I would rather just collect everything and do it all once at the end of the summer. So that's what I'm doing. So it's doing that on camera, but you can't see 10 pounds, 10 ounces. So I'm just gonna write that here so that way I remember. It's gonna be less because I have to go through and cut out all the stems, which I probably should have done before, but I'm not gonna do it. So in the freezer. Next thing that I wanna get done is I've had my herbs hanging for probably 2 weeks now, and they should be nice and dry. So I wanna get those in, at the very least, a jar So that way I can start using that. Okay, I've got a couple of empty little spice jars that I have kind of been keeping for this occasion. I think they are all garlic powder, to be honest with you. So I'm not gonna worry about really washing them out because I have rosemary, no, not rosemary, sage, thyme, and basil, and I don't really think that any of those are going to get worse by having a little bit of garlic flavor. So I'm just gonna put them in here. There we go. So now I've got a jar of thyme, a jar of basil, and half a jar of sage from one evening's harvest. So super excited about this, and I can't wait to do more. It's been a week. I don't even know when I did these, but I mean, it looks like everything's sealed properly. I got 3 cans of cherry tomatoes. The only thing that I'm like confused about is these ones settle, and then these ones are all kind of like the vacuum is still, oh, this one didn't seal. Yeah, that would be why. Okay, well, this one didn't seal properly, so I'm not gonna eat these because I didn't notice this until now, and it's been a few days. Other than that one, all of the other jars sealed properly. I should have like taken these rings off. Oops. I got 2 jars of cherry tomatoes, and we actually had 5 jars of sauce. I busted into 2 of them already. Okay.
For what? Oh, for the can?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a different, fully different. Okay.
This looks beautiful.
Because the counter is just dirty.
Wait, I want to see the bananas out of. Oh my god.
Okay, so making dinner. Making a red sauce pasta. Canned these a few days ago. Not my canner still being behind me. I cleaned it. Let's see how it is. Get close so you can hear it.
What if it pops?
It's not gonna pop,
pop
right?
Ooh.
That's a nice little seal. Yeah. Very good.
You smell it, camera.
Oh, super in focus.
You should see how beautiful this looks.
It's weird. It doesn't smell like anything. There's the sauce. There it is. Okay. That's it.
Like and subscribe. Dogs are barking.
It's just nice to have a lot of shelves, or not a lot, but be able to start putting some shelf-stable things in my pantry from my own kitchen, because I've been making my own sauce for about 2 years now, and in the past I have just been making it you know, a nice big batch and then putting it either in jars or in my little freezer cubes and putting it in the freezer. And usually when I want to make something with red sauce, I'll just pull it out, pop it in the microwave, or if I have enough forethought, I'll pull it out several hours before so that way it can thaw. But it is so nice to have ready to use, not frozen tomato sauce. So I cannot wait to learn more canning recipes. I've got a couple of cookbooks. I've got the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving along with 2 other canning / fermenting books. So I'm really excited to learn more canning recipes with some more of my harvest in the future. But for now, I'm feeling really good with the first couple of things that I canned. If you're interested in more videos like this, where I show the journey of learning how to preserve your own food at home, truly on your own. I don't have a mentor. I don't have anyone that I can really ask about this stuff in my life. So I am learning on my own, doing my own research, and it's been a really rewarding process. So if you're interested in seeing more videos about how I learn how to can, learn how to garden, and learn how to become more of a self-sustainable home cook, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.